Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about why would they leave?
This is a very common question, and it can be a hard thing to accept.
Yeah, I remember going through my breakup and just feeling so shocked that they would want to leave. What? Why would you leave? Are you crazy? I treat you so good. We get along so well. Our families get along. There's so much great between us. Why would you leave that situation? I couldn't understand for the life of me why they would walk away. It feels very personal, so it can be really confusing as to why somebody might leave, especially if you were a good partner and
Right.
you know you were a good partner.
Or if there was a lot invested, maybe the two of you had many, many years under your belt. Maybe the two of you had made really big life decisions together. You're thinking, man, there's so much here to lose. Why would you leave? So it can be hard. Maybe you never thought that they would leave. Kind of had that sense of security with your partner. You didn't think that it was possible that one day they would just walk out. It might have been all of a sudden. It might have been out of left field that they just told you, hey, this is ending. I can't do this anymore. So it could be part of that shock of, wait a minute, why? I didn't even know this was coming. Why would you make this decision?
Yep.
And you might even wonder about ways to fix it. This is what our mind typically goes to. We try to fix it immediately. We might ask, well, why can't we just talk it through? Why can't we just meet in person? If they see me, then they'll feel differently. Or maybe we haven't gone to counseling and we need to go to counseling. Maybe we need to do this or try this solution or that solution, right? And so a lot of times we'll feel like we haven't exhausted all of our options before deciding to end the relationship, and that can seem like such a drastic option to choose.
Yes, I know I felt a lot of those things personally. I can remember thinking them and feeling them and thinking, we just have to talk about it. Let's just talk about it. But it doesn't work like that. In fact, I did a call with a guy today who did something like that, thinking, we just got to talk about it. And was using a piece of mail that he knew it wasn't even really hers. It was for his pet, and using it as an excuse and say, oh, come get this piece of mail, when he really knew it wasn't even for her.
Come get this Petco coupon.
Yeah,
You
and
need
I'm
it.
like, and he even admitted, he's like, I knew. I was trying to use it as an excuse. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I get it, but let me set you straight here. And
It's hard,
yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. And sometimes we can feel like our ex is taking the easy way out. Well, it's just easy to leave. You're just, giving up on this, and much easier to leave than work on our issues, and we got to do this and that. And so, we can be in a completely different mindset than what our ex is at.
I didn't understand with the Applebee's situation. I didn't understand that girl that I dated, that she was more on the avoidant side. Now, she wasn't extreme. I think she was probably more like a fearful avoidant. But I didn't understand that had such an impact on our relationship. There were other factors going on there, so that was only part of it. But for me, going through that situation of not understanding why would she leave this, well, it really wasn't about me doing anything wrong or me personally. It was about her and her just getting out of a marriage and being very young at the time and not ready to jump into another new serious relationship. So those little factors at the time weren't clear to me. And so it was devastating, especially because, in that situation, she had a daughter who I loved like my own child. And so it was like more than one major loss. You know what I mean? It was really tough. But I just remember thinking, I don't understand. There's so much good here between us. But you got to understand that your ex and their attachment issues and their relationship with their caregivers is a huge component of this. Avoidants are more likely to end a relationship than I think anxious people are. Okay? And I think they're quicker to walk away. They're more impatient about certain things, and, that feeling going away, of feeling smothered and trapped and pressured, where they are more likely to walk away. So that's one reason that they might walk away from you, even though you were good to them. And they're telling you, you treated me better than anyone has ever treated me. How many times have you heard that?
Often.
Like multiple times a week, you hear an ex say, you treated me better than anybody I've ever known, even their own parents. So that's a big component of it.
Oh, yeah. And they may have thought this through a bit, maybe behind the scenes, right? And they may have had a difficult time expressing what they've been going through to you, maybe because of the relationship dynamic, maybe because of their own internal struggles and ability to be vulnerable with anybody. And so in their perspective, they made a decision that they had to, right? I know from your perspective, you're saying we didn't have to do this. We didn't have to come to this, right? But in their mind, they had to, and that's why they made that decision. They may have felt like there was something that you didn't understand yet. People make drastic decisions when they've reached their limits, right? And every person's limits are very different, right? So for them, they've hit some sort of nerve where they said, okay, I have to make this decision. I have no other choice. And for them, the idea of leaving had some kind of benefit. And I know this is hard to hear because you're on the other end of it and saying, well, what are the benefits? Tell me, please. I'd love to know, right? For them, the benefit could have been peace. It could have been independence. Could have been freedom. It could have been confidence. You know, a lot of people have internal struggles that we don't know about. We talk often about your ex's perspective, but each person is so individual and can be so complex and has their own set of insecurities, traumas, attachment issues, right? And so in their mind, leaving this relationship had some benefit to them, and being able to connect with that, being able to empathize with that is only going to help you understand your ex better in the case you want to repair it.
Yeah, and understand that those thoughts or beliefs that they had about ending it could change, especially when there's no pressure on them, which is why we tell you to go into no contact, because it takes away the pressure that they were feeling to be in something that they didn't want to be in. So when you remove yourself, it allows for them to feel safe again. It allows them to feel autonomy again and like independent again, not pressured, and then eventually get to the point where they can miss you and want to fix things and think, oh my gosh, what am I doing? This person was so good to me. Why am I going to lose this person? I don't want to lose this person. But again, that can be depending upon how much pressure you put at them at the time of the breakup. If you send them a clean slate message, a good reminder text, a handwritten letter. I had a guy today do a handwritten letter. He wasn't coached into doing that, which is good news, but he did it on his own. But when you do those things, it just makes them feel even more like pressured and backed into a corner where they're like, oh my gosh, you got to stop this.
Right. And we cannot stop somebody from leaving, right? We can't make choices for them or try to force them into a kind of decision that they don't want to make. But what we can do is act in good faith in our relationships, right? And we can give them more reason to stay. We can say, well, this is who I am. This is how I treat my partner. This is how I conduct myself. This is my character. There's ample reason to stay, and that's the best we can do. And so this is one of those tough ones. Sometimes there are questions that kind of repeat in our mind because we're trying to understand and accept them. There might be a part of us that might have some insight on what the answer is, but it's hard to accept, and that question keeps repeating. One of those is why. When a lot of people go through really difficult times, sometimes they curse the skies, right? And they just say, why? Why me? Why did this happen? Why did they have to leave? Why is this happening to me? Why them? Why my relationship? And so the closer we can lean to acceptance, understanding, then the more peace we have within ourselves.
Yep, all those things are true. And the more that you work on your attachment issues and the more secure that you become, the more you're going to understand them with clarity and wisdom and coming from a good place. Okay? All right, so hopefully this has been helpful to you. And of course, if you want to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. Victoria is also available for Zoom calls.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name at the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.